Well, hello there. Today we're talking about the new Insta360 ONE RS, my go-to action camera ever since it came out several months ago, and 9 accessories that I recommend using with this camera. So the first thing you might notice about the new ONE RS is that it comes in a brand new cage. This cage does fit the older ONE R, but it's catered toward the ONE RS. And the thing that's really different about it is that it no longer comes with a cold shoe mount. So if you want to attach accessories such as a microphone or a light, then you actually have to buy the cold shoe mount separately. But the nice thing is it snaps into place right on top of the cage. And once it's on there, it's a really solid hold. There is a little lever here to release it, but it's very, very steady, and I would trust putting pretty much any accessory on this cold shoe mount. Another brand new accessory that came out with the ONE RS and is very specific to it is this microphone adapter. So there is an older microphone adapter that would only work with the older ONE R. But this is a new ONE RS adapter. It is super small, really easy to use. Once you get it, all you do is plug it into the USB-C port on the side of your camera, and now you've got your 3.5mm microphone jack. And your USB-C port is still available to use as well. So now let's talk about a couple of microphones to use with this camera. My absolute favorite one is the Rode Wireless Go 2, which is somewhere in this bag. It's in here in this ZG Cine charger. I've talked about this case before, but I think it's an essential accessory if you own the Rode Wireless Go 2 because it charges up all of your units really nicely and keeps them in place. But this is a wireless microphone system. We use this a lot with our GoPro, and we also use it with the Insta360 ONE RS now that we have that microphone adapter. But this gives you 2 wireless microphones to use, or you can also use one microphone independently if you're a single creator. And the other microphone that we've been using a lot with the Insta360 ONE RS is the Rode VIDEOMIC Go 2, which is a super small microphone. It's a smaller version of the really popular, really awesome Rode NTG microphone, which is what we use in the studio. So this is a really great on-the-go microphone option, which works with really any camera that has a 3.5mm microphone jack. All right, the next essential accessory is this dual battery charger for the Insta360 ONE R or the ONE RS. It will charge both the new ONE RS battery as well as the older ONE R batteries. And really the main difference between the two batteries is that the newer ONE RS battery has slightly more capacity. So it'll charge your camera or let it run a little bit longer, but really that's the main difference. The next essential accessory that I use with my ONE RS is a lens guard for the 360 mod. So there are several different lenses that you can use with the Insta360 ONE R and the ONE RS. And one of them is the one that I use the most, which is this 360 mod, because it gives me a 360 camera that I use a lot for shooting my B-roll in my travel vlogs. This is one little lens guard that I just put on whenever I'm not using the camera to keep these lenses safe. But there are also other lens guards that come separately, and they're a little bit bulky, but they attach to the outside of the cage, and they give you a little bit more protection on these lenses when you're filming with them. Now there is a bit of a caveat that using these lens guards on this camera can degrade your image quality slightly. I honestly don't see a huge difference in my image quality, but it's just something to be aware of. Now we're going to move into mounts for the Insta360 ONE R and the ONE RS, starting with this gimbal. This is the Inky Falcon Plus, and this is meant for action cameras to give them some stabilization as you're filming with them. Now most action cameras have built-in stabilization. The Insta360 ONE R and the ONE RS are no exception. Flow state stabilization has gotten even better on the ONE RS in that now you can film your videos with flow state stabilization already baked into your files. Because on previous versions of the ONE R, you had to run your files through software on your phone or on your desktop computer to get stabilization applied. But now that's built into the camera. And honestly, it's pretty good. But the only thing is, once you get into low light situations, then that flow state stabilization doesn't really work so well. So whenever we're filming in low light, that's when I turn to this gimbal, and using this gimbal gives me ultra smooth footage even when it's dark out. But as I mentioned, you don't always need a gimbal to film with the Insta360 ONE R, but you need some kind of mount because it's not very comfortable or sustainable to just hold the camera like this. So the main mount that we use with the Insta360 ONE R is the invisible selfie stick. So this is essential because it gives you a mount for your camera, but it also extends really, really long. And so you can get some really serious height using it with this camera. And so this is an essential item. You really have to get the Insta360 version to ensure that it's invisible in your shot. And we actually use this mount with our other action cameras too. So this is a really handy mount and I really recommend using it. Now, if this invisible selfie stick is a little too long for you, there is a shorter version, which we like to use whenever we want to be a little bit more incognito. And you can easily get a little bit more height with this pole, but it's not nearly as long as the invisible selfie stick, and it's a little bit shorter when it's contracted. And the final mount that we use with our Insta360 ONE RS is this mini tripod by Ulanzi. This is the MT47, I believe, and what's really nice about it is that it's a little tripod that can support not only small cameras like this action camera, but it can also support slightly bigger cameras, I think up to 4.5 pounds total. And it's a mini tripod that can also extend slightly. And so this is really nice for tabletop usage or whenever you're wanting to plant the camera somewhere, but also give it some height so that you can be eye level with your camera. And it's all metal with the exception of the legs. These legs I think are rubber, but this is a super sturdy tripod that I just got, and I also use it as a selfie stick, so it has multiple usages, and I really love it ever since I got this. And so I'll be talking more about this tripod as I test it out, but so far first impressions are that it's fantastic, and I highly recommend it for not only this camera, but multiple cameras. So anyway, those are my top 9 accessories for the Insta360 ONE R and the ONE RS. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, if I'm missing any accessories, and I will see you in the next video.